All right, we'll give folks a few minutes to join our session today. Today's session is Hypernatural 101, so it is meant to be a beginner course, so I will go relatively slow. I think if you have experience using Hypernatural and have already started shipping videos, this might feel a little bit new to you, but you never know, you might learn something that you didn't know existed before. So we hope you stick around. But I just wanted to set the stage for I will go through creating a character, creating a style, um, creating a voice, and then how you can use those components to create your first video. So again, we'll give folks another minute to join today's session, but thank you all so much for being here. Welcome to our Hypernatural webinar. Okay, let's get started. All right, so my name is Christina. I work at Hypernatural, and you might have seen my name if you message our support channel. I am doing our Hypernatural 101 webinar today, which is a beginner's course. I will go slowly to kind of showcase the different things that are possible in Hypernatural. Um, and we will create some assets that we will then use in a video. I'm gonna I'm gonna start from this page here. This is our dashboard. So when you first sign into Hypernatural, this is the first thing that you see. Before we go through the prompt box here, I'm gonna just scroll down a bit. We have our ideas panel, which you can kind of think of as a set of templates. We will update these every once in a while to add specifically like seasonal things, right? We have like a Valentine's card template, holiday movie, etc. So things that are kind of seasonal for what it is that's going on. But we also have a bunch of other templates around culture, fan fiction, um, things for kids, marketing. So a couple ideas for ads that you could create in Hypernatural, um, romance, spooky, and things for writers. So here's just a few templates. You can click on one of these, and it kind of brings you to a version of the prompt box, but it sets up the prompt for you, or it'll start with a character depending on the template that you've selected. Um, and then it'll walk you through the process for creating a video. So yeah, definitely check those out if you're a little stuck on where to get started. We also have our inspiration videos, which again, if it's not about using a template, but you're just trying to get your creative juices flowing, you can access one of these and watch some videos we've already created here in Hypernatural. And you can also remix these, meaning you can use this exact same one and just make a twist of your own to these videos. Down here, you'll see styles. So these styles here include styles that are already included when you log into Hypernatural. We have a ton of styles already made available to our users, but they also include our custom styles, so things that you've created. You can create a style here. There are a bunch of different ways to create a style, but here's one of the places that you can create a style. If you come down here, we have characters. So again, characters that are already available to everyone in Hypernatural. So these are some of our stock characters. This is a custom character that I've created specifically in this account. And then you can create new characters here. And the set of characters that are available are dependent on the plan you're on. So some might have, 4 characters, some might have up to 48 characters available to be made, but you can always use the stock characters. So that's a little bit about what's on our dashboard. If you have created something and you're wondering where it went, you would go here to my videos, and this is where you will find previously created videos, which you can search, or you can filter by characters that you've used or styles that you've used. You will also find here your custom characters. So these are only the custom characters created in this account, your custom styles, or your custom voices. You can create custom characters, custom styles, and custom voices from this screen here. If you click character, you'll see create new character, new style, voices, creates new voices. But for the sake of this webinar, I'm going to create characters as I create a video. Our Explore tab also a ton of other, a lot of like the same things with the templates, styles, some of our popular characters, our most used characters. And then we also have our stock scenes here. So you can use any of these stock scenes. You can click on one of these and then use a stock scene in your video. So if there's a video or a stock scene that you really like, you could start from one of those. And then down here are videos from the community. So previously generated videos that other users have created. Sorry, I should have said this from the beginning, but please feel free to message things in the chat if you have questions. I won't get to them right away, but my plan is to leave a few minutes at the end of this to go through some of the questions. We also have someone on the team who's like watching the chat, so they could also get to you a little quicker if you do have questions that you want to ask directly in the chat. Okay, so those are our three main pages, our create, videos, and explore. Now let's go back to create. Now, our prompt box, small but mighty, it does a lot of different things. So, from your prompt box, you can start from a narrated audio, meaning you can upload an audio that has narration already in it, and it will transcribe that narration and then create scenes for that narration. Same thing for a narrated video. So, narrated video is really good if you have, say, like a podcast video where you want to keep pieces of that podcast video as you've created it, but then you want to add a few images, some B-roll to that video. Same thing for audio, right? So podcast is a really good example of narrated audio that you might want to add things to, like an explanatory video that you already have audio for. You could use one of these. And then last is a voiceover. So if you have your script, not a screenplay, but a script that just has all the things that have been narrated, meaning you just have narration for a video. An example of this would be an explanatory video where you are explaining um, solar systems. You could use the voiceover. Do not include scene descriptions here. This is just for what the narrator will say. And this will ensure that you only get a narrator and that the script will stay exactly the same. So those are just some of the options here. You can also start from a library item. So again, we kind of went through the stock images. You can actually look for a library item here and start from that. You can also upload images. So the way this works is if there are certain images that you want to be used in your video, and I mean like quite literally used, as in that image will show up exactly as it is in your video, and you can add up to 10 images here. And then same for videos. If there's a video that you want to be used in your video, then you would upload that here. So that's our plus sign, a bunch of different ways to get started. Um, Now for the prompt box, there are two ways that you can use this. You can quite literally use it like a prompt box and just say, I want, like that example, I want an ad for a perfume, et cetera, et cetera. You can add things here in the prompt. You can also say things like only a narrator, only one character, whatever it may be that you're looking for. However, if you have a screenplay, then you would add a screenplay here that has like descriptions of your settings and then like lines for a narrator and speaker. A lot of people come to this prompt box with a screenplay already in mind, possibly something they pulled from ChatGPT. So you could also copy and paste that screenplay here to make your video. Okay, so then here we have styles. This is how you select your style. You can create a custom style here. You can select the length of the video, and then you can select the aspect ratio of the video. For today, let's make a story of a 12-year uh 12-year-old boy and 12-year girl who meets an alien. Something random. All right. And yeah, I'll keep this. Maybe I'll do vertical for this. Okay. Now I'm going to make my changes in this screen here. So I just used prompt. I didn't add too much. like I didn't add the names of the kids, which I could have done. I could have been a little bit more descriptive about who these children were. But the reason I didn't do that is you'll see. Okay, so it's already assigned Liam and Mia, who are the kids in this story. Assigned this character, Zorp. It's given a narrator, it's given a style. Well, the style I selected earlier and the aspect ratio I selected earlier. Now, I'm going to make a few changes. One, I have an idea for what I want Liam, what his name is Liam, to look like. And I've prepared a prompt for this. I'm going to just use a prompt. I can create a character using either a photo. So if you've created a character elsewhere, or if you have a very specific person in mind that you'd like to create a character of, um, you could upload an image here to create that character. I am going to describe the character. I'm not going to use an image. I'm gonna say boy for now. Okay, so this is a 12-year-old boy, short hair, olive skin, wearing blue hoodie. I'll change that later. Blue hoodie and light wash jeans, slightly big ears with blue sneakers. Okay, so here we have, and as you can see, it uses this voice of Liam because the character's name is Liam, so it just selected that name, that voice for it, but that might not be the voice that we necessarily want to use. Great, so now it's created this boy using just that prompt. I didn't upload any images. All I did was prompt it. Now, every character deserves the right. It's probably not the right voice for this child, so let's look up to. I believe there is a boy voice that I like to use for these. I can't remember. Sam. Every character deserves the right voice. Sam is great. So we're gonna go with Sam. Now I can take a look at these. Blue hoodie, distinguishing characteristics, not noted. Tiny. Okay. So let's create this character. Now we have a new character for Liam. Now let's create a character for, I think Mia, is that her name? Yeah, Mia. All right. Again, I'm going to just use a prompt that I've already prepared. So we're going to have a 12-year-old girl with dark brown skin, Afro puffs hairdo, small hoop earrings, a light brown sleeveless mock neck jumpsuit with a zipper, and a white shirt, white sneakers. Let's just go with the same thing. Girl. Okay, so we'll generate this. Okay, so now you see the girl up here has been generated. They're still generating the example images, but you can start to see the clothing and the distinguishing characteristics. It's added obviously a couple of things like confident expression. I could change that and remove that if I don't want that to be a distinguishing characteristic. Something to be mindful of when you're creating characters. So I try to keep the accessories, meaning like headphones or a phone, etc., to a minimum, just because if you're adding that to the character itself, that character is going to have those things in a lot of places where maybe it doesn't make sense. And it might be better to include that in the scene description, meaning Mia is holding a phone instead of Mia holding a phone in her character description. So something just to consider when you're creating characters. We have a voice assigned. Every character deserves. Chi-Chi's a little young sounding, I think, for every character. Every character. A little too soft. Every character deserves. Great. Freya sounds great. All right, so let's go with create this character. Now, we have this alien thing, and what it did was it used a character that's already in our system, which is actually like a dragon. I'm going to create a new character here. Again, just with the prompt. So this is pink alien-like creature with a chunky short appearance, three big dewy eyes, and a small mouth, no ears. And I'm also going to put let's see. Rainbow jumpsuit. Let's see what it comes up with. So as you can see, if I've had like a very specific idea for what I wanted this video to look like, I would spend a good time here um, creating these characters, right? And like making edits and, maybe the rainbow jumpsuit is not the right thing. Maybe it should be just like a space gray jumpsuit. Actually, I do like that better. Let's do that. Space gray jumpsuit. Let's make it shiny. Okay, future. Let's generate that character. So again, I would spend a good amount of time tweaking, adding characteristics, changing, um, just making changes once it starts to create the clothing, hair color, etc. down here. So let's see.
Every character deserves.
It's a little too friendly, maybe. Um, so yeah, metallic, so yep, that's great. Love that. Covered in tiny bumps. That's great. I love it. But again, if I didn't want that, right, like the system added this kind of like there are a lot of things I didn't include in terms of how to build this character. Maybe I was like, oh, I wanted it to be a cone head. I could have made that change. I just didn't include that. I personally like the tiny bumps, but if that is something you would want to erase, you could do this and then regenerate. Just as it's regenerating, I see a question in the chat, and yes, I will be sharing the recording for this. All of our previous recordings are available on YouTube, so I will make this one available on YouTube, and then I send a blast to everyone who registered for the event with the recording linked. Great. Oh, the little dots are still in there. Did I not remove this? Oh, rubbery looking skin texture. Okay, so there you just have to like read the whole thing and kind of make sure that everything looks right. But I am actually going to add in the little dots. Sure. Pink head cover, yes. Okay, just to leave that in there. But that's ways that you can like make changes here. I could add hair to this creature. I don't want to do that. But same for all of the previous characters we've created. You can make a lot of changes before you actually create it. One thing to note about regenerating versus generating something new is, for instance, if I created this creature and then for some reason I was like, I actually wanted to be a human, I would just start from scratch. I would not try to make changes or tweaks to this creature because now we have a reference image. So as you can see, like these images will change, but this reference image that got created from the original generation is not going to change. So it makes more sense to just start from scratch if your character is going to look completely different from what you originally started with. Now let's pick a different.
Every character deserves.
I like Arnold. Okay. All right, so now we have these characters. One thing I noticed right away in looking at this is because I didn't describe the characters, it created descriptions for those characters. So Liam, a 12-year-old boy with messy brown hair. As you can see, Liam, I do not have with hair. So I'm going to remove this. Soccer ball and trees. We have bright pink streaks in her hair. I could leave that, but I don't want that because essentially what will happen is like it might get, you might see moments where she has pink streaks and maybe moments where she doesn't, just because it conflicts with the character that we've already created. All right. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going through this and checking the script. Oh, actually, before I do that, let's look at the style. So for this one, I've selected the 3D animation, but let's say you actually want to create a custom style. I'm gonna pick this custom. I'm gonna just create something that's kind of like a phone aesthetic. like something created from a phone, at least, as little as time I spent on this. So I could probably do some tweaking to this style. But you can create a style from prompt. So that's where I'm at right now. Or you can upload a bunch of images. So if you have a very specific style in mind, say like a 90s film, you could upload a ton of images from 90s films, up to 6 images, to create this style instead of creating from prompt. I did not prepare any images, so I'm just going to go from prompt. As you can see, it's like uh, authentic social media aesthetic, real world setting. Okay, so captions. Let's remove clean captions since we are adding captions in real world setting. Do this. Okay. It might be getting a little confused and putting the phone everywhere in this. So sometimes also something to note, yeah, this is better, is if I've seen an example of someone uploading an image that was like in a grocery store aisle, and the description that got added to that was a ton of grocery store aisles. So something to just be mindful of when creating your styles is if you are baking into your style a setting or an object, um, that will come up in the video. So naturally, that user then was like, why are there so many grocery store aisles in my videos? And it's because the style that they used had grocery style like baked baked into the description, not even just like the image. It was in the description was grocery store aisle. So something to just be mindful of. Okay, so let's do this realistic style. Just quickly, I mean, I'll use this one for now, but we also have a photographic style. We have other styles that are also photorealistic, like classic horror, um, or like even fantasy, but obviously it's like more fantasy style, goth, grunge, right? So something just to consider is that you don't have to come up with your own style, but if you have something very specific in mind, I've created videos like uh 2D style animations, and for that I did feel like I wanted to create my own custom style, especially because the setting of it was very specific. So I was like, oh, it's an Afro-urban 2D animation style, and that doesn't really fit any of our other current styles. So if you have a very specific setting in mind, sometimes it helps to create a style. Right. All right, so your style, we got characters, aspect ratio. Now let's go for a narrator. So actually, yes, we do have some narration lines here. If I didn't want a narrator and all I wanted was Liam and Mia speaking, um, I could just say remove narrator. I'm not, or I could say remove Mia if let's say I didn't want Mia in the video anymore. Um, I could add a third character, add another, I could add like another alien. So if you want to make changes like that, you could use the change script box for that. Um, if you want to make, again, if you want to make a full, like, this is just not right at all, it's always best to just start from scratch in that situation. Versus because when you're making prompt edits to anything, right? Like if it's an image or if you're editing the characters, etc., like you're editing what you're looking at versus like you're trying to trash that and start over. So if the idea is actually that this is all wrong and you want to start over, then please do just start over. Now, the narrator here is my custom voice.
Hello there, I'm ready for my role.
Um, uh, we do have a ton of other standard voices available here. Anything with the crown means it's a premium voice. It's only available to our paid subscribers, and regenerating with those voices generally is just it costs a little more than generating with one of our free voices. Regenerating, sorry, with one of our free voices. And we have two custom voices here. So I'm going to go through the process of just creating a custom voice. Something to call out, even with like Liam, as we made Liam, we attached the voice. We could have also created a custom voice here. So there are a lot of ways to create a custom voice. Similar to characters, there's a limit to the number of custom voices that you can create given your plan. So just something to be mindful of when you're creating voices and characters. Okay, so let's create a new voice. To create a new voice, you can either record your voice or a voice, if someone's around that you whose voice you want to record, um, or you can upload a file of a voice that you would like to use. So I'm going to record my voice. The longer you record, the better it is. Um, let's just Hello, I'm recording my voice. I can choose to read this or not. I'm using my best microphone to get the best voice possible. I'm also making lots of different voices, like sounding super silly or really angry. I can keep talking, saying anything, just keep going. Okay, recorded about 16 seconds. Here's the recording. And then I'm going to generate this voice.
Hello there. I'm ready for my role. Once upon a time in a faraway land.
Right. So if I don't like this, I could go ahead and record again, and it takes me right back to the beginning of that process, and essentially is a start from scratch situation. Or I can go ahead and create the voice. I already have my own custom voice, so I'm just going to leave the voice that I have in here. Um, and now I'm going to go through this script. So I've already erased some of the descriptions here. I can read through. Again, all I did was use a prompt for this, so I actually did not write the script at all. Um, so just good to take a quick look. Spacecraft. Okay. Greetings, I'm Zorp. Okay, great. All right, so there's a lot of speaking here. All right. Okay. Let's make this video. In interest of time, I want to get us into the editor. All right. So as you can see, it's starting to like pull in the images, using the script that it created. It's generating images. And it changed. Okay. All right. Let me see when this. I guess I should have realized. Oh no. Okay. He looks okay. Um, all right. So the outfits did change here. Hypernatural also has what we call a costuming step. So depending on where the setting is, let's say if I put them in space, it might not use the costume that I set in the character, and instead it'll create a costume for them because they want to set it like the system wants to set the costume relevant to the setting. So obviously for the kids, it's like they're out playing in the woods. It gave him a soccer ball and he put him in an outfit that made sense for that. Um, but for the Zorp, it didn't make any changes because there isn't like a necessarily a relevant setting. That any setting changes that would be required for the alien. Okay, so now we have this video. Let's watch a little bit of it.
Come on, Mia, pass it, Liam shouted. Mia looked up from her notebook. Just a sec. I almost got the light right on this leaf.
Light on a leaf? We're supposed to be exploring, finding adventure.
Liam dribbled the ball further into the woods, then stopped suddenly.
Okay, so Hypernatural creates a stream of stills to match the script first. And then, so my recommendation when people create their video first is definitely watch it all the way through. Make sure you feel good about the still images. If you have very specific ideas in mind for how things should look, then you want to make sure to add that nuance into the images, and if it's not already in there. So like,
Mia, check this out.
It's
okay, and then is this a UFO? Then the UFO looks different. Um, okay. So now let's say you want to make changes to this. Either you want to change an image or you want to change the script. Let's start with changing an image from this video. Here's our swap. If you click swap, you can generate a new image here, including making changes to the setting. Before I do that, the other things that you can change here are you can include stock images. So this is really great if, say, your that image or that scene or that moment is more like it's the forest and it doesn't necessarily include any of your custom characters. Or if you're using characters that are our stock characters and the outfit of that stock character doesn't necessarily matter. Like let's say you were using Ashley. You could say Ashley laugh. So now you get Ashley the character, or you can select Ashley or the character here. So let's, yeah, there goes Ashley. I can select Ashley and then it'll just show me images um, of Ashley. And that's, again, these are really good options if you're using one of our stock characters, or if like, let's remove this character. Let's say you're gonna do ocean, right? Like you're looking for an ocean scene, like a beach scene, then, and it doesn't necessarily need to match something very particular, like a custom character, then that is a time that maybe using a stock item would make sense. Then we also have our generated. So here you can see all of your previously generated items. So let's say you make an edit to this image and then you actually don't like it, but you want to go back to a previous image. This is how you would find that previous image. For generated, you can toggle by images or by videos. So this one doesn't have any videos yet. So right now we're all in the image section or nothing. And then lastly, you can also upload an item. So if you have a very specific image that you want to get used and maybe you didn't include it at the very beginning when you were going through the prompt box and you want to include it now, this is a really good use case for like an end like CTA scene or like a logo scene. Or maybe you just like have an item you generated elsewhere that you'd like to use here. Okay, so that's how you swap these images. Now, let's say you wanted to just make edits to this image, you could change how the image comes into the scene. So if you wanted to, have no pan and zoom, it just
Come on, Mia, pass it.
right, there's no movement on that. You could do that. Pan and zoom, if you're going to animate this whole video, then I wouldn't spend too much time in the pan and zoom section just because it won't apply once you have added full motion to the video. But if you do plan to keep any of these as images, this is something you should spend time on, is just making sure that the way the video comes into the scene um, is what you want it to look like. You can change the speed of that animation. Then here's a place where you can add captions.
Come on, Mia, pass it.
Liam
So,
shouted.
oh,
Mia looked up from her notebook.
right now we do not have captions in this video, but if I wanted to, so as you can see, I hid captions for the entire video. This is default. I could go and add captions
Come on, Mia, pass it.
Liam shouted.
here. Okay.
Mia looked up from her notebook. Just a sec.
All right. So that's captions for this specific scene, and this is transitions for this specific scene. You can transition how the slide comes in, how it goes out, and this does apply when you animate a scene. So this, for some folks, they just want no transitions, and that's perfectly fine, and you can just go ahead and select none. If you want to do that for the entire video, you would come up here, edit all transitions, and then select none, apply to scene, or select whatever transition you're looking for. So that's up here, edit all transitions. And then here's layout. So Sometimes, there's an issue with, or maybe you just want it more zoomed in on a specific place. You can change the sizing and the position of the video or the image in this layout section. So that is scene specific settings, right? You click on the scene and
Almost got the light right.
the scene specific settings will show up. If you're looking for global settings, just click in this blank space, and now you get back to the global video settings, which take us to our design tab. Here you can change the style. So maybe you decided, okay, I actually don't like this realistic style and I want to go with like 8-bit. You could do that and then regenerate the whole thing. Maybe what I'll do for this is do this in 3D animation. So now to regenerate the entire image, it would be 30 credits. What it is doing is that it is regenerating all the images for the entire video. So if that's what you wanted to do and you didn't want, and this is a good use case if like you don't want the script to change, then it makes sense to go this route. If you don't care about the script and you just want to start from scratch, again, just like start from the beginning. It's probably a better option. An audio, why you might regenerate audio is if you've changed a character's voice or if you changed the narrator, that'll be a reason to regenerate audio. So I can show you where that happens. Well, we'll get to that soon. I'm not going to regenerate this just yet, just because I don't want to regenerate as we're like going through this, but we're going to continue on to captions. So here I've hid captions for the entire video, as you remember, but I can unhide them and make edits if I wanted to include captions to the video. So I could change the color of the highlight, right? As you can see, like now it's purple, pink, red. I can change the caption type, style here for the caption. And I can make it larger, keep it small, and I can change its position. So top. Now, these are the global settings for the captions for the entire video. So now I'm making changes to the captions throughout the entire video. I'm gonna keep this, yeah, black. But if I wanted to just change it for a specific image, like an example of this could be that the caption here at the bottom is perfectly fine, but maybe when it's like zoomed in on her face, I mean, this is not a good example, but somewhere where maybe the important part of the video is showing right under, like right behind this caption, I may want to go directly to this and then either hide the captions for the scene or change the position. And that'll just change it for this specific scene, as long as I'm selected the scene and gotten into the scene settings. Now let's go back to global settings, clicking on the blank space here. And then the last thing here is brand. So if you have a logo you want to include, so do this. I can include the logo. I can show the title of the video, which I don't want to do. And then I can move it around. And then I can replace or remove it. So I'm going to remove this for now, but this is a way that you can add your logo to the entire video. So every scene will have that logo in the position that you've chose for it. So that's our design tab. Now let's move on to our script tab. Here you can make changes to the script, meaning the words that are being spoken are changed here. You can also add more scenes. So a good example of this is maybe you want to leave a scene in the end. Just like now I will. So here is a place where if I'm changing the script, and that includes adding a scene, removing a scene, it is regenerating the entire audio track. So the amount of credits that it takes to regenerate that audio is going to remain the same every time that you make changes to the script. So the recommendation here is if you want to make more than one edit to your script, try to do that in one go, so that it's a little bit more cost efficient with regards to the credits. So let's regenerate that, and you can see now it's regenerating. We go to the end here. It's added this like blank scene, and then I can go and either generate an image here by adding a prompt, or I can go to Media tab and use a previously generated a stock or an uploaded image to fill in this blank page. Okay, so that's our script. Again, you can make any changes here. You can remove things. You can move things around, um, or you can delete scenes. Here is also our characters tab. So here you can see all the characters that we previously selected, including the narrator. Here's where I would make changes to the narrator or make changes to the characters. And lastly, our audio tab. So our audio tab handles our voiceover speed for the entire video. You can make it faster or slower depending on what you're looking for. The voiceover volume for the entire video. And then here is also where you can add background audio to this video. So I could add this and then we play this.
Come on, Mia, pass it.
Liam shouted. Mia looked up from her notebook. Just a sec. I almost got the light right on this leaf.
Okay, so for this one, I don't think background audio makes sense, but you can upload any audio here and add it as a background audio. Okay, so those are our global settings for the entire video. Again, I want to go ahead and change the style. I'm going to regenerate this with 3D animation because I've added, because I've added the additional screen, the end scene, it's included that in the regeneration. So let's see, let's regenerate this. Okay, I see Tony is getting to y'all in the chat. Thank you, Tony. Tony is one of our engineers here at Hypernatural. All right. Okay, so now we've regenerated all of this with uh with 3D animation.
Come on, Mia, pass it.
Liam shouted. Mia looked up from her notebook. Just a sec. I almost got the light right on this leaf.
Light on a leaf? We're supposed to be exploring, finding adventure.
Liam dribbled the ball from.
Okay, so this is now with our 3D animation as our, and you can see, I do feel like this little guy looks better in 3D animation. Okay. Oh, sorry. All right. Oh, goodness. Okay. So now we're back, 3D animation. We've made that change. Again, I could go and change the characters.
Come
Like
on, Mia, pass it.
for instance, like he doesn't look like the kid I selected previously here. Something also I think to note about creating characters in different styles is generally if I am creating a style, a specific like cartoon style for a character, and I'm creating a custom character, I will create that character in that style. It just allows for better consistency. So I would have created these characters in a 3D animation style or like embedded that into their characteristics so that it could be a little bit more consistent. The system will still generate them in all the styles, but as you can see, in some ways, it's just like looks a little bit more photorealistic than 3D animation versus here where she has like the big dewy 3D animation eyes. So something just to consider if you like, and I'll show an example of this. Like when I created this video, I wanted it to be like this 2D animation. I did create these characters as 2D animation characters, even though it'll show them in all of the styles. No, not this one, sorry. Characters. Right, so that's the reference image created for her. It does show her in a bunch of different styles, but as you can see, because she's a cartoon, she looks a little bit more cartoonish, even in the photorealistic styles, which works great for me because I wanted her to be a cartoon. So that's just something to consider when you're creating, um, when you're using characters, if you're creating them from scratch. Obviously, if you're uploading an image of someone, then that's what you have. But if you are creating characters from scratch, a lot of times creating them in the style that you are using does help with consistency. Okay, so now we have this. Let's go ahead and make changes.
Come on, Mia, pass it.
For this one, I just want to reanimate this one. I mean, sorry, I just want to regenerate this image simply because I don't like the way the character looks. I'm actually going to do the same thing for this one and see if we can get a better image here. As you can see, like here, he looks better and more like the character that we've originally created. Here too. All right, there we go. So here he looks better. Um, Here not so much. Just to reinforce the no hair. Um, Great. So let's see. Here he's
Light on a leaf? We're supposed to be exploring, finding adventure.
Liam dribbled the ball further into the woods, then stopped suddenly.
Whoa, Mia, check this out.
Is
okay. So for this one, again, he looks different. Um, but maybe I want this Liam pointing toward a sparkling stream. I'm gonna remove maybe stream Mia glancing over in the background. See how this short hair thing worked a little better. Okay, let's regenerate this one. So again, this is important. Like this is where you would regenerate these images. You can change the prompt here. If the setting is meant to be different, this is where you would change the setting. So you could, prompt a completely new setting if you don't want them in the forest anymore. His ears got so big. Um, and here, all right, that one looks okay. This one I will try to regenerate because I think obviously this looks more like an airplane. Right, stand next to me with right pointing at the spacecraft and the no, if I had more time, or actually let's try this. So here's like this remix button. It like provides like new options for prompts if you wanted to, if you don't know exactly how to change this and you just know you want something different and you don't want to just keep regenerating the same prompt over and over again, you could use this and it just provides you a new prompt. Being above the trees. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so in the interest of time, I won't go through too many of these. Um, See, I've made some changes. Sorry, sometimes when I go back, it just reverts, but here we go. See, these are the new ones. His hair is still not the way I would like it here. Okay, so in a situation like this, actually, okay, in a situation like this, what I might do, if I'm going to animate this entire clip, is I could use the same image. So if I wanted to, this is not a good use of this image because she's supposed to be sitting here, right? She is supposed to be like not passing the ball and she's supposed to be sitting. So if I wanted to, I could use one of these instead. I guess let me try this. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm kicking a soccer ball. Okay. Okay. If I had more time to spend on this, I would actually probably make it just Liam kicking a soccer ball. But here, so this is an example where I could do this and then possibly use the same image. So there's like some consistency across like the scene and image being used. And then what I'm going to do is animate these separately. So then they will animate based on what is being prompted for that specific scene. Now, if I wanted to be very particular about how I'm animating each of these scenes, I would select the scene and then animate with AI and control the animation here. Um, if I just wanted to animate the whole thing quickly and not wait, I would go up here to our full motion button. Again, I would suggest doing this after you review the entire video. That includes a script. Make sure your characters look good. Go through each of the scenes. Listen to the whole thing through. You've made your edits. You've included all the things that you needed to include. And then I would go here and add motion if the goal is to add motion to the entire video. And it's saying 30 out of 31 because this scene is already animating, slash it will be animated. But I could go here and select a few other scenes that I don't want, like blank test. This is like a random thing that got animated because there was no real prompt here. I just added a blank screen. So maybe I don't want to animate this one because maybe I'll just add a blank screen there or a logo there or something. And did not watch this whole thing, but it's so cute. Okay, and we're gonna just add motion for the just to make sure that we can see this before our time here is up. And if you have any questions, please be sure to add it in the chat or in our Q&A. Okay. All right. The last thing I'll go through is exporting. But as we watch these generations, you can see it's generating each of these here, generating every scene. So it'll take a little bit of time. Okay. If we have any other questions, please do add it into chat and I can get to those. So yeah, the best way to get character consistency is through creating custom characters. I think if you add more, so yes, one thing I probably would have and should have done at the very beginning is that instead of just removing the descriptions from right, like I had those random descriptions that I had made before I created my custom characters, is I would have probably added more of those descriptions to the prompt itself just to ensure consistency across the custom character and the prompt that I had um writ like the script that I had generated based on my prompt. So yes, I think like the more you write it into the prompt and also the characters, the more likely it is that it'll keep that consistency. All right. Okay, we're getting more kind of coming in. Let's see what we've got so far.
Liam shouted. Mia looked up from her notebook.
Oh, let's start from the beginning.
Come on, Mia, pass it.
Liam shouted. Mia looked up from her notebook. Just a sec. I almost got the light right on this leaf.
Light on a leaf? We're supposed to be exploring, finding adventure.
Liam dribbled the ball further into the woods, then stopped suddenly.
Whoa, Mia, check this out.
His ears.
Is that a UFO?
No way, this is awesome.
A figure emerged from the spacecraft. It was small, with large black eyes and gray skin. Series of clicks and whirs. Did it just speak?
I think so. Hello?
The alien tilted its head. Greetings, I am Zorp. He speaks English?
Universal translators.
Okay, so just because we only have a few minutes left, some changes I would make. I would one, change the script here, right? That the description actually does not match what the character looks like. Figure emerged is small with large black eyes and gray skin. It doesn't have gray skin, it just has a gray spacesuit. So I would probably change some of this here. Another thing that I would change, I would update this here to get some consistency across the spacecraft. One of the things that we are currently working on is adding objects as also something that we can control consistency across. So in a future version of Hypernatural, we will be able to upload the spacecraft and make sure that that looks consistent throughout the video. So hopefully that we will have that out soon. but I would just change some of these to try to get more consistency. And one workaround for that would try to is including more of the same image, especially when there are scenes that don't need to change as much. Same thing here. So here, we're gonna go here and let's look at the setting. Right, the setting here is different. It's a small clearing surrounded by trees under daylight with a civil spacecraft featuring glowing symbols pointed at its center. Whereas this one is different. But there's no reason why it should be different. It should probably be the same. It's in the same scene, right? They're talking to each other. They're still standing in front of the spacecraft. So a change I would make here is also editing these images where the scene changes, to instead include this scene. So let's just, again, I would be more thoughtful about this if I had more time, but just kind of to show you what that looks like, I would just edit the scene. I would probably just keep the image the same, depending on what I want it to look like. Um, so yeah, again, if I had more time to go through this, I would go image by image, make sure that the settings are as consistent as possible, change places where settings and or characters are not as consistent as I'd like, or even objects. And one way to do the objects is to be, again, more descriptive in the prompt about what that object should look like and just copying and pasting that across the video. Because here, all I'm saying is spacecraft. So it's like space, threshold spacecraft, and then spacecraft with glowy things. So I would just be more descriptive in each of the descriptions where the spacecraft is to say like, oh, silver spacecraft pointed at its center, but like the shape of it looks different. So like a saucer, so things like that, I would just try to add into the settings and the prompt descriptions to try to create consistency across each of these scenes. Okay, we only have a few minutes left. Do we have any more questions from folks? All right. So please do add your questions to the Q&A or the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to show you all how to export. So let's say we're done with this video. We feel good about it. Let me check on this image over here that I still hadn't finished generating. Which one did I change? I don't even remember now. It speaks English. Speaks English, right? So this is a little bit more, now the spacecraft is there. It looks a little bit more like the clearing versus her in the middle of the forest. But again, I can keep playing around with this. All right, so just quickly exporting. So here are export options. The way to think about exports is that it's like a snapshot of time. So this is like a save as, I guess, situation. So when you go export, select your uh, the resolution here. You can also do this here. So here's like where you set your access. We create links and post these onto Hypernatural. So if you want these to be private, only you can see it, you would select that here. If you want this to be unlisted, you can select that here. If you want it public, you can select that here. Resolution, same thing. I'm going to select 1080. You can share to socials. You can connect each for YouTube or TikTok here, and you get 50 credits for making the connection. Click this here. And immediately it creates the link. So this is the link to Hypernatural. But one thing you'll notice is it's still loading the video. So think of it like kind of like YouTube is rendering your upload, and it's still just like uploading and rendering that image. So that's what's happening here. It's loading this video because it's still exporting it. And here it is exporting it. If you make changes to your video, when you come here, this will change to share, meaning it'll re-export that video. And you'll need to wait for it to continue to re-export before the uploaded version is available or the most recent version is available. Okay, and then you'll get an email when the export is ready. And then you can share it wherever you'd like, and to whoever you'd like. So we have another one of these. We do have another session coming up next week. So same time next Wednesday. And yes, you can save it to your computer or on your phone. I can get to this. Let's see. So here your video is ready to download. Here you can download directly to. Now it's downloaded um, to my computer, and it looks a little different for your phone, but yes, you can also download it to your gallery on your phone. All right. If you all have any additional questions, please do message us at help@hypernatural.ai. We have another person helping us with support chat this week, so we'll try to get to your answers a little quicker. And we have another session next week, so that one is a more deep dive session. I won't go through a ton of the beginning things of like creating characters in so much detail. And I'll try to spend more time in the editor. So if you are more interested in learning how to make edits here and um, just go a little deeper on the Hypernatural editor, please do come to our next session, which is next Wednesday, same time. Right. And thank you all so much for being here.